I've got it slowed as much as I can. Boy, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not in yeah, I don't want to. And I cannot, and I'm not using Internet Explorer. That's not possible with this. So is he hearing our voices? I thought I had us off. Okay, let's begin our broadcast for tonight, and we'll see how we're doing. As much as I can be heard and understood this week, let's hope we can get some of the message across. We had an absolutely terrible week of recording and streaming last week. Nothing recorded properly. We've tracked much of the problem to a very sick hard drive. We are going to be installing a solid state hard drive, which we hope will be able to handle the load of what's being put on it. So we hope that we'll be able to do that. And we are planning to have that set up so that we will have a better thing. So if we're still having problems this week, we are trying to improve it. I don't know what else to do. And we also have some reason that an overlay here is not working properly that I've got, but I'll worry about that in a moment. Okay, that'll have to do. Anyway, last week, what happened, and it is a really big shame that we lost some of the video. because last week's video was, last week's game was absolutely awesome. We had Ippotis, who was visiting us, and we did a bunch of RP. And Ippotis was found to have developed a bit of a tyrannical attitude towards the village, which he is acting as a military governor on. So when the party questioned him, they found out that he had killed off basically all the two remaining semi-adult Wachter children, the young adult Wachter children, as well as, it turned out, all the Wachter cats that had been in the house. And the entire circumstances that were surrounding it were very odd. Sylvia found out about this when she went to the Vallaki manor to retrieve her Strahd puppet, which she was having enchanted. And the young Wachter boy, the young Wachter man, he's like 20, was finally owned up to the fact that he picked up a bunch of dead cats that had been thrown out and had reincarnated them basically as animated cats that he liked to have as his pet in the house. So a lot of very questionable things are going on in the village, and the team went to the Blue Water Inn in order to rest for the night, and that was where we ended last week, with them set up for that. So as we start the week this week, we will be it will be starting the following morning after a night's rest in the Blue Water Inn. Victor, there's two Victors in the story. Victor, one of our players, which is spelled Turr, and then Viktor, which is the Vallaki son. Victor, our player, will come in from having slept outside. It's become a normal thing for people to recognize that he comes in every morning from other locations that he sleeps. So he will arrive, and the rest of you will be starting to gather in the common room of the Blue Water Inn. What do you have in mind for what you need to say or do?
I believe that Dirok and or Alex has something to do.
Dirok needs to talk to Vlad. The plan was to do it during our time at the inn.
Are you still at the inn?
Ooh, excuse me. I think we're in the Commons, I think we were told.
Yeah, we just woke up. We're in the Commons. Vlad would be downstairs cooking himself some food.
Specifically, Alex wanted to get some R&R, and then before heading out, stop at the armory along with Dirok so we can pick up some replacement mundane supplies. Alex needed to replace his crossbow. Dirok needed to replace some spears. Javelins. Hucking spears.
Yep. But, yeah. I guess Dirok would just sit at a table and pretty much just wait for Vlad to sit down or something.
Well, Vlad comes out of the back room, his arms laden with trays of food for his party, as per usual. Here you go, eat up. Dawnwatch special, eggs and bacon.
We asked for a cleric. We got a scholarly maid. I can't get the word right.
Now I can't do it either.
This scholarly maid has made you a delicious breakfast.
Scholarly maid.
Yeah. If you do not wish it, I am more than willing to give it to one of the other patrons in this inn.
Go ahead, and I give him my plate.
I'll
Dirok's not hungry.
Vlad will take Sylvia and Dirok's plate and walk over to the two wolf hunters and hand their trays to them.
Alex is a little mad he didn't get to eat it. He's going to eat it.
Oh no, I said Dirok's and Sylvia's.
No, he wanted them too. Hasn't had a good hot meal in a long while. We've been eating trail rations.
At that point, I'm just going to start stealing pieces off of Alex's plate.
Why didn't you eat the one that I gave you?
Typical girl!
Why didn't you eat the one that I gave you, though?
You took it away before I could take it from you. There's a difference.
Alright, let's just say Sylvia grabbed it before I could take it away.
Well, I was going to trip you, but then Alex already made the commentary, so I was figured to just take it from Alex's plate.
Alright. In any case, various people have food. And Vlad sits down and starts eating.
Ruth, how did Victor's hunt go?
You were quite successful in doing exactly what you needed to do.
All right, excellent. Victor seems to be in a good mood and is of a fairly normal color.
Hey,
Duroc
Thundermill didn't disagree with you, eh?
Vlad doesn't say anything about it. Just, all right.
I just looked down and said, "This land changes people."
In what way?
Got some sun.
I think some it changes for the better. Ismark and Arena are obviously better off now than they were before meeting us.
Are you
Baron.
referring to the Baron from yesterday?
Ismark and Arena.
I know. Yes.
But they
So
were always-
after that, are you referring to the Baron? He's asking if you're referring to the bad part of the Baron.
Ah, yes. The Baron, fool he may have been, was full of fire and conviction, and now he's broken.
Vlad will put down his fork and say, "Living the life of a mercenary, it is quite common to see this. This is what happens when a man has lost everything, or thinks he has lost everything. He has lost barony. He has lost what he believes was the only thing keeping Strahd at bay, his festivals. And he's lost all of his respect. From his viewpoint, he has nothing anymore."
Look, if anyone knows in the good aspect of storytelling, even broken people can be fixed. He just has to find the will to fix it.
He needs a new purpose.
That's what I told him last night.
I've seen many, many men in my company get broken in this way. All he needs is a new purpose and the will to pursue that purpose. And
Or the drive to take back what was rightfully his.
That would be his new purpose.
That's what I told him, but he seems to be a little brainwashed. At least in my opinion, but, what do I know?
He was very definitely numb. He was to the point
soldiers under him and no ability to fight for himself, and clearly he's alienated every single person in town. It's not likely he's going to be able to take the town back by any stretch. Also, would we even want him to? I mean,
look,
corrupt dictator or what or not?
He wasn't that. Look, he was an idiot. He wasn't that corrupt in comparison to like other people that we kind of know. Big bad that we are trying to fight against. He's really not that corrupt. He's just stupid.
Yeah,
what you say has merit.
Yes, but his response to a grand villain was to squander all of his resources. Even if there wasn't some grand villain, some external force, he would have very likely driven his town to oblivion, or his town was so easy to take care of that he didn't need to exist in the first place.
Like we said, an idiot. But not bad of heart.
No, Look, you didn't spend time talking with the guy. I did last night. He cares about his town. He cares about his legacy. He kind of cares about his legacy, but he feels that he's lost everything. I don't blame him because he kind of just made it stupidly easy for anyone to come in and steamroll the town.
Which is exactly what happened.
Which is exactly what happened. So, it's not like you can't get it back. I honestly, long-term game, do you guys really want to keep this place after everything is said and done?
Honestly, I have to know. It entirely depends on whether or not, the clouds actually break after, I don't have any good nicknames for the guy yet. I need to come up with a good nickname for Stroud.
You mean Milady?
Captain Hat Tip. Anyway,
It's not just these people who
Lord
change.
Longtooth. How about that?
Longtooth. No, I want something stupider than that. But no,
I'll figure something.
If the clouds break, this could actually be an awesome place to settle down for a while. I mean, the roads go places. There's an excellent winery. I have no doubt the local cultural food is pretty good.
My family's main
People will
nearby.
celebrate us as heroes.
Well, I mean,
Speaking
Obviously.
of which, I still want to do that, to go at least visit it before the day is out.
well,
It's
yeah, that was part of the plan. Sorry, go on, Derek.
It's not just these people who change, though. And I
No.
look over to Vlad. What about Ippotis?
Ippotis has been acting strange indeed. Before
He has
we
been-
Power tripping.
Strange is if he was acting weirdly. He has acted evil.
I disagree.
I would go
There is a
extreme
very
lawful.
there is a very delicate line between true dedication to good and insanity.
Zealotry?
And
Zealotry?
he is zealotry, yes, and he is bordering that line. What he did to
Stella.
Stella was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt he even tried to talk to Father Petrovich to see if he could take care of Stella before executing her. And what he did to the Vaktar boy, that was unnecessary as well. A swift execution, an axe to the neck, would have taken care of it. He need not have tortured him before he died.
Wait, he was tortured.
I am not certain. What he said yesterday
Let's not
was
assume. Let's not assume that
I
until we see
believe he
evidence.
specifically said that
say,
I believe he said that he dispatched them mercifully.
he said
Mercifully.
he did say that anyone who sees the body of the Vaktar boy will steer well clear of both Vaktars and Strahd for a long time.
He beheaded him
Yeah, that
and
could
put
just be
his head on
desecrating
a
a
pike.
corpse. Nothing wrong with that.
This is true.
I do not dispute the execution of the Wachter boy. He openly professed his reverence to the devil. As long as he was continuing this reverence, he deserved to die. He served evil. He is not a part of this land. But Stella was a young girl whose only crime was that she was misshapen from the tortures of her family. And Ippotis called that mercy. Just.
Well, look, we don't know what happened exactly when we left. I mean, for all we know, it could have been merciful, but I mean, I'm trying not to automatically pin him to the dartboard and say this is the bad thing. Here's the dart. Hit it.
It is a bad thing
It
to
looks
kill
bad.
unarmed children.
She wasn't
That
that
is
young.
evil.
Dura. She
Dura.
wasn't that young. She's
I'm actually,
probably a few years younger than me.
well,
We don't know how.
tipped,
what number
that
that
tips
is.
your hand for your age.
She appeared when you
But
were
yes,
in her room.
We do have a rough estimate of how old she was.
In her room, and she appeared to be around 20.
I actually, Durok, I have a question to ask you.
What?
Imagine there was what do you keep? Do you keep pets? Do you have a hit? Every time I try and you don't have toys, so I don't know how really a metaphor for this. You keep pets like dogs, maybe?
Derok had a bear.
Okay. Imagine there's a bear, adolescent, not fully grown, but old enough that you've gotten a feel for the bear, and you know that try as you might, the bear has. Actually, you probably would prefer aggressive tendencies. Aggressive tendencies towards you and your family. You know that this bear, try as you might, and given the history that you've had with training bears, is not going to stop. It's going to remain aggressive. Do you leave the bear on, or do you just try and kill it humanely?
Derok would do no such thing. The bear would never be aggressive to begin with. You teach it as a cub.
Well, you found the bear as an adolescent. You couldn't have taught it as a cub.
You didn't hand rear it all
Why
the way.
would Derek go after an adolescent bear? It would
Here we
just
go.
attack Derek.
Trying
Alex,
to
you're
do logic
too hard.
to somebody who
You're trying
thinks
too hard.
literally.
That is
Works
not
with
going to
dog.
work.
Okay, Alex, stop. Durak. You find
Yes.
the bear. You find the bear in the woods, right?
Yes.
You think maybe you can train it to not be bad, but it still does bad. What do?
You continue to train it until it learns.
What if it never shows any sign of learning?
Then you continue to train it until it does.
But what if it doesn't?
Then you
what?
continue to train it until it does.
This is going to be an endless loop, Durak. Do you kill
Yes.
it, or do you keep trying? Do you keep trying to beat your head into a rock?
This will
Why would
not
Derek
work.
beat his head into a rock?
Because that's what you're doing by trying to train a bear that does not want to be trained.
But Derek does not train a bear by beating his head into a rock. That is very bad training. Where do you train bears?
I
I
have,
don't. I'm
I
trying
have-
to train you.
I have known this man for years. You should stop beating your head on the rock.
Vlad, who had been
It
sitting,
will
I will
not
remember.
work.
I will remember this.
Vlad, who had been sitting with his head in his hand, much like I am doing.
I don't understand the
At
reference.
Victor's smile, or
I-
gives a smile
At
at
this
Victor's
point-
joke.
I don't understand the reference.
At this point, the Mardikovs come up and greet you, and Danica lays a kind of a sweet roll on the table, says, "A little extra something for your breakfast. It is so nice to be able to see everybody able to talk freely and say whatever they want. This is a nice change, yes?"
Quickly stabs
This
the
is
big
awesome.
corn. Quickly
Yeah.
stabs the
Hopefully
big
it
corn.
will get
As well, Danica.
Hopefully it will get better.
And I'm just straight up swiftly stabbing that sweet roll with a fork.
And then
know what, you
somebody
can have it.
steals your sweet roll, and
Yes, somebody stole your sweet roll.
I hate to draw on the subject, but I have to share this one thing. Dirk, what if it was raised by someone else? The bear was raised by someone else and raised very poorly. And try as you might, you can't break its training. I feel
Derek
like
would
that
not
is-
claim another's pet.
But they gave it to you. They gifted
They,
it.
no, not given. It was an
You can't.
It was a conquered pet, a pet of somebody who stood against your clan. Bear is innocent. The bear hasn't attacked or killed anybody. But
If the person is
Hopeless.
attacking my clan, their bear will be attacking my clan as well.
What if we never got a chance to? It was still
I
locked in
believe
pen.
we have our
Alright, look.
answer.
We're
I
we're
think we
just
gotta know.
going
I
to
think-
keep going to this into the circle.
I think
we're done.
we're a dragon eating its tail at this point. So
Yeah.
probably a couple.
I offered Derek some
probably a few
bacon.
people walk out. Yeah. No, we need to offer Victor the bacon. But yeah. Victor is
you know, one
famous.
last thing to say.
Riz is,
Duroc,
is
you're
famous
a
for a
man of
bacon
good-
character.
Dirk, you are a man of convictions. No one can deny that. So,
Derek does not know this word.
Strong moral code.
Oh,
compliment.
like Vlad.
Yes, kind of.
that's
Except a little bit more.
Only
hard-headed.
stronger.
Yes,
possibly.
very stronger.
Either way, I had heard something about us going out to a grind mill of sorts. Does anyone know the route there?
It is to
all,
the east of town.
all except maybe Monarch, depending on where he came in, you would remember that you came by it on the way to Vallaki from Barovia Village.
Oh, we did? Oh, I thought.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember the fork in the road now.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we going to go talk to cartographer, and if we find vampires there, we're burning down his shop too?
I don't think finding vampires at this point is much of a problem for me.
No,
We should probably
that one
burn
right over his head. That was
There-
right over his head.
Darok's already felled 3 vampires.
Well, the last time we found
don't have to
vampires,
worry.
we burnt it down. Let's stay consistent.
Plus the one underneath that church.
I don't think we burnt that place down, but it was a church.
We didn't burn it
Well,
down.
we didn't burn that one down, but we
Yeah.
still killed the one underneath it.
Yeah. Then there was like the 5 or 6 that were outside the church that were like smited by the light.
That one
There
Darok
were-
did not kill, though.
Blinded by
That was the father.
Yeah,
There
but we
were
helped.
several
We helped.
that got caught in the sunlight. Most of them escaped. There were only 1 or 2 that actually melted. In
Oh,
any
I
case,
kept those.
I
Oh
agree.
yeah, that's right. I was busy juggling those bats.
In any case, I agree. Let us be off. We are burning daylight, so to speak.
Yeah. So I don't think we really need to RP it, but I guess me and Alex would go and collect the weapons that we would need from the armory.
Yes, you are able. The armory at this point is remarkably well stocked, probably better than it has been in some time, because Ippotis has been making a point of melting down various supplies that he had and turning them into spears and weapons. So you will be able.
Ha, puns.
You will be able to pick up any of the standard, simple, or martial, if you have proficiency for it, weapons that you need for basic fighting.
He's making a point to make spears. Haha.
Ha ha ha. I'm gonna take a. It's just a. I realized something. I'm gonna take a quick pit stop to the toy shop, just to let the guy know. Yeah, the guy who ordered you to make all those little girl dolls. Yeah, he's gone. Bye.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah, we need-
overnight the town has heard of Ezek's.
Oh yeah, because Darok Dragon pretty much parading him around town.
No, go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm just pretty sure.
Yeah, I know. It's.
Yeah.
We'll say,
Better safe than sorry, I guess.
she doesn't know how fast news spreads. Sure, she was the town crier at one point.
So, GM, would the armory have 6 javelins for me to take?
Yes, because he
And,
said specifically he was aiming at javelins and spears because they were very simple to train the townspeople in using.
And you said that they were melting down weapons as well?
He's been melting down various things that have been around town, a lot of things that were in the Lady Voctor's house, anything that he feels is not needed. For example, some of the stocks, some of their iron hinges and things have been melted down and so forth. He is taking iron from any source he can find to melt down and resmelt into weapons.
Then I would turn in the acid-scarred sword and acid-scarred dagger that I've been carrying around. I'll turn that in for melting down.
One of the soldiers who's
Then
in
I-
charge of the armory would thank you very much for your contribution.
No problem. Alright. That's it.
Okay, so you guys are well stocked, well rested, well fed. You are all ready for a trip anywhere you need. So you are going to be heading east out of town, I assume, towards the mill, right? Right?
Yes.
To Bonegrinder, as far as I know.
Right.
Towards the mill.
Taking a look here. Let me shrink this map down so people can see it. Basically, they traveled from here, the village of Barovia. They traveled this way towards the Vallaki, and it was at this point here that they passed this. They can see it on the screen, although you don't see what I'm showing them. I'll click the screen so that you can tell where it is. This location here is where Bonegrinder was as you came by. You were able to see the top of the blades or sails of the windmill as you came by, and Vlad snuck up at the time that you passed over, there was a little bit of a hill, and he kind of snuck up and looked over, and he was able to see a mill there and knew that that was where this property that apparently he has a deed to from his family background. He's not entirely sure how it played into his family's background, but he knows that the mill is connected to his family. So you are currently in Vallaki here, and you will be traveling east along the old Svalich road and going around the forest and down to the mill. The mill is situated, you climb a bit as you go out on the Svalich road. You are climbing up over a large pass to a certain extent that has its peak up at Ravenloft Manor, which is the castle here, and all the mountains kind of lean up towards that. The mill itself is on a promontory, a raised area, by no means as high as the castle, but certainly raised above some of the areas around it. So you are able to see some of the valley down below it
Right here?
when you arrive at, yes, that is Bonegrinder, and it is raised above some of it. It backs up against the forest, but you are able to see down all into this area, various things that are down there. As you come around on the curves of the road, you can notice that you have a bit of a view now, that you're not in such a rush. You can tell that you can see a lot of the valley below it. You notice that beyond and off the cliff that Bonegrinder stands on, you can see down into a bit of a valley, and there is some kind of looks like old ruins or something down in there. You can see 4 like monoliths that are down in the area, and you're not entirely sure what those are. You also are able, as you look beyond the forest edge, you are able to see a bit further. There's not a lot of ground fog today in Barovia. It's dark overhead as usual, but you don't have that creeping fog that you had when you arrived, and you are able to see a little bit of the glistening silver gray of the line of the river that runs along the Luna River, that runs from Lake Zarovich all the way down to Luna Lake down in this area below. And you do notice that there are also some in the very far distance. You were able to tell that there's some kind of ruins also in this area, but it is too far for you to tell much detail at this point. So you know that there are ruins below the cliff where Bonegrinder is, and you know that there are ruins off in this area. You also can see peaks and passes and various things off to the south, and you are able to tell there's a lot of Barovia that stretches down that way that you haven't experienced yet. So you have come to this intersection right here to Bonegrinder, and again you are able to see the sails of the windmill above the rise of the hill, and you see the familiar sight of just the top of these broken and dented sails that you saw before. You would be able, at this point, it would just be the very top that you would see the top 2 sails. The sails are pretty well torn and frayed. They don't look like they're very good for catching the wind anymore. They have pretty much lost their ability to function in that regard. However...
You can see all your creatures all off to the left.
Okay. That's interesting. I know why.
Well, I could probably pipe up for the first time this evening then. He's been rather quiet, considering he was privy to a rather private conversation amongst you all, as he knows very little of your actual ties together. You look up rather imperious, probably whittling at his nails with like the knife he uses to keep his pen sharp. And he'll just go, so what is this woman's crime?
Well,
She puts kids in
Turning
pies.
children into pies.
There's a high potentiality that she turns children into pies.
we
It's
don't
also
know it's for
possible she
certain,
can
but
use
yes.
slave labor.
Yeah. Still,
So in
kids,
other words,
at
what I'm
least
saying,
kidnapping.
what I'm saying
Definitely
is
kidnapping.
Be prepared for that.
Despite that, squatting.
If
This
they,
is my
Yes.
family's ancestral home, and I want them out.
you will have to do plenty of work. Looking at those sales, I imagine I have been in brothels that do more grinding than this place.
You are not wrong.
Wow, that is 2 for 2, funny man.
Yeah.
What did you eat? What did you eat? A clown?
He,
No comment.
it was the toy man.
Raised brows. Once again. Well then, let's confront her on the matter and see how the situation progresses. Onwards.
Vlad will lead up. Oh, as they were walking to Bonegrinder from Vallaki, Vlad would have fallen in step with Victor and lowered his voice a little bit and said, I may have an answer for your problem.
Yes.
I have been consulting Nathander. So far, the only way I know to reverse your condition is... I have a way to reverse your condition, though it is extremely drastic and I don't have the materials for it as of now. But just as your power has been increasing, so has mine. Given time, I may be able to find a less violent answer to this solution, or a less violent solution to this.
Situation?
You just have to add this.
Well, we shall see, I suppose.
Besides, you couldn't hear. I specifically said I lowered my voice.
She is half elf.
As you know, Ippotis and I have an agreement. There is a deadline.
And that may be part of the solution. I will do more consulting and think on this further, but for now there is at least one way to return you to human and make sure that you live out the rest of your years with blood in your veins.
Well then,
Just what
I
is your
wish
blood
both of us
type?
luck.
I was thinking more like, what, your own blood?
I
That'd be
don't know,
amazing.
let me check my
Positive.
canteen.
Universal recipient.
I get it.
As you come over this like dune area that's a little low hill and crest it where you can see better, you can see this very sad looking thing. You can tell that there are at least 3 stories in the place because you can see the lower floor has some windows and then there's a couple of floors above that have windows. It's not a very large place. You can tell that probably the entire thing, living space inside, guessing from the distance that you see across it from the outside with thick walls, it's probably, you imagine, only about 20 feet in diameter inside. So it's going to be quite cramped in there in the best of circumstances. So make your plans for how you think you will approach this when you go in.
As I'm pulling out my spear and pretty much readying myself for battle, I turn to Vlad right away. Vlad?
Yes?
We should not be announcing our presence here should this hag be more powerful than we think.
I don't know what you mean. Clank, 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 clank.
Well, that you cannot help. But blowing the door open will not help us either.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know, OC note, there's a part of me that seriously just wanted to have a makeshift torch and go, burn the witch, and run towards the house.
Why makeshift? You have actual torches.
I don't remember if I used them on Winter Splinter and replenished.
Honestly, what I really wanted to do is a kick down the door and yell out or something, but we got to think about this tactically.
In the shape that it's
First
in,
time that
maybe
Darok's doing.
with the mill in the shape that it's in, maybe burning it down and just starting over would be a good idea. Who knows?
It
Who
might
else
cost
is in
less.
there? Yeah, you don't know who else is in there.
We do.
That
We
too.
do have We do have a problem. It clearly says no angry mobs after 6 o'clock.
That's a good thing there's only 5.
I
No
don't know.
soliciting.
I don't know what 6 o'clock means.
Well, you see, if you think about it, aren't we always after a 6 o'clock? I mean, come on. When does it start being the next before?
There's a
Okay.
lawful
That
character
means,
that
Puts
hurt.
his head in his hand again.
alright, now you're just getting too philosophical even for me. Shush.
So,
anyways,
do you wish to-
Smack.
So, do you wish to
Seen
support
many
the process
clocks
building
and
tactically or not?
you haven't seen many clocks
We should
in this
try-
round. And it's always dark. It seems like it's pretty hard to tell time in this place.
It's perpetually 6 p.m. on summer months.
Does Alex wear chain plate, whatever kind of suit that makes noise?
Yeah, he is.
He does. Okay.
Oh,
I look to Monarch. We should try to do this as quiet as possible to not announce our presence. It would be unfortunate if those two loud men do give us away, but they can't help it with their suits of metal.
Hey, I got an idea.
But it's better that they don't know by blowing the doors open, blowing the windows open, or making our voices very loud with your spells.
Well, Jark, I got an idea. Remember how we stopped those druids from chanting on the hill?
I can do that.
If we all walk near you, they ain't gonna hear us. We're going to be won't hear them either.
Is anyone in this group particularly good at sneaking? I mean, I'm not.
Hi.
I mean,
Yeah,
everyone can be good at speaking if there is no sound to be heard.
I don't think I'm
No, I mean, I think
proficient.
that's
Oh,
I don't.
sorry.
I don't think that's necessary. Let's just see if there's anyone actually inside there. Like, maybe this just happens to be.
As you are
If I was
hanging
not
back
good at
discussing
speaking, I
this,
would not.
a cloud of ravens descends upon the mill, and they fly around it in almost like a bird tornado, and they keep flying over your head almost as if they're trying to drive you off from the mill.
Oh, so I don't recognize them as the Mardikov's ravens?
Small birds.
The-
Or raven
Oh,
size.
they had crows. They didn't have ravens. So then these aren't the Mardikov's
Same thing.
birds.
They may or may not be the Mardikov's birds. They are certainly not the Mardikovs.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, because, what's his name? The tavern owner, who's also a Mardukov, he uses birds for whatnot. I talked to one of his birds.
Yeah,
These aren't the same birds.
There are more birds in this swarm than you saw at the inn, but it is possible you recognize some of these birds. Give me a perception roll with advantage, Dirac, unless you wish to try and spend time to talk with them.
That takes 10 minutes, I think, for me to try. I'll just do the perception with advantage. Ooh, 13.
You definitely see at least a couple of them that look like the birds that you spoke to on the inn, but there definitely are a number of them that you don't recognize and some you're not sure of.
Alright, then I go to the others. We should make our way in quickly. I can't make any sense if these birds are here to help or hinder us.
Well, if they're here to hinder, if they're spies for the hags, they already know we are here.
They don't know when we will be coming. Please do not blow doors open.
Okay, look. They're one way or another. They're going over here. The buzzards are circling. This reminds me of a really, really bad book I read where lots of people died because they were being pecked to death by billions and billions of birds. It was horrifying.
Birds don't eat people, and I go up to
in this story they did.
To the windmill.
We can deal with a bird, NATO. It is only if it is sharks that we are in trouble.
How do I know?
Just all the references tonight.
That's supposed to be my job. You're taking over my job.
Your job's drama
He
now.
ain't a clown. He ain't a clown.
Ruth took my job earlier.
Yeah. All right, so who is going to try to open the door and do a stealth in?
Derek.
I guess Duroc.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll just-
Vlad will
It-
cast guidance on Duroc.
all right.
I'll
I
join
don't know
him.
what that means. I forgot what
Get a
that means.
D4.
A D4.
I'll join him
all
and
right.
back up.
Yeah, you'll get some extra points for your roll for stealth.
Question.
Oh, so I'm stealthing first?
You're trying to be very stealthy as you open the door, so I will need a stealth roll to see if you trip over your own feet and clatter against something inside.
Can I join him?
Hey!
Oh, dear. Maybe I don't need to.
He's really on his mark today.
I disappear from their view. Where did he go?
Yeah, with the up to 4 that you get from Vlad, you really are doing a good job. And
Yeah, I get. How long does guidance last?
1 minute.
Okay, yeah, let's roll ahead. Go ahead and roll that.
and who
It's
will
1d4. All right, so 20.
Yeah, but you definitely are very quiet as you open the door. The door is scraping along, it's kind of off its hinges and scraping along the floor, but you recognize it immediately and you lift the handle, and with your strength you actually lift it over the scraping so that it makes surprisingly little noise in spite of the condition that it is in. Who will be following behind him once he's taken a gander inside?
I would have also mentioned to Vlad prior to opening the door, don't put light on me, put light on like yourself or someone that's near you instead.
Who's the person
I can
coming?
see in the dark without it.
Who's coming behind him?
I'll follow him.
Okay, so Sylvia is sneaking along behind him.
Victor will turn into a bat. How do the ravens respond to this?
Pull
They
away. They pull away from the door when you do this, and kind of it's almost like they were a massive hand, and they just like lift their hand away from the door where they've been apparently trying to prevent you from entering.
All right. Victor will go ahead and follow shortly behind, flying, kind of flitting from spot to spot, being sneaky.
Good. Do you want a bat on the screen for you to use? Actually, you can just use this because we're pretty much going to just use this static overlay tonight. So you can just imagine it. We need to have an alternate for you to use. I need to set you up so you have alternates. I might do that.
Well, the bat actually, this is with the vampire feature, and the stats are exactly the same.
That's not what I'm
wild
talking about. I'm
shapes.
talking about visual.
We're not getting the map.
So you have a visual of you in bat form, but that's, that's fine. Okay, so Duroc opens the door, and as expected, you see about a 20-foot diameter room, which is very crowded. There is no person or individual that you can see on this ground floor, but the room is fairly packed. As you open your door to your right, you see a spiral staircase going up. And in the middle, that takes up about 5 feet of the floor, but there's some room underneath it, and stored under it. And in the rest of the area, a makeshift kitchen has been devised. There's a bake oven that has flames. It's fairly warm in the room. The oven is going. Something is cooking in the oven, which actually doesn't smell too bad. It smells like some kind of bakery goods or something cooking in it. But mixed in with the smell, you also smell an acrid, burning smell that assaults your nose in with the good cooking smells. Around the room, you see a chest against the far wall, almost all the way across the room from you. The stove is to your left, the bakery stove. And right in the middle of the floor, there is a chicken coop with 4 chickens and her cart, the one that you saw in Barovia Village, is actually pulled.
Rebuilt, because I remember breaking it.
It is still half broken. It has a wheel knocked off of it and one side. And the boards and the wheel are laying in this room. And there's still a remnant of some of her sales materials and so forth in the cart. The room is just basically packed with baskets and boxes and all kinds of things in it. Very cramped. You have just enough walk space to walk between the stairs, the cart, and the cart chicken coop area, and around to the stove. It's very difficult to get to the stove directly because the cart is also kind of to your left and in your way. So you can walk around in a circle to the stove, or you can walk up the stairs.
So just so I got it, so I know that there's like a separate room with the stairs. You said that there's the baking room and the main room is one room. There's no separate baking room.
There's no separate
all
rooms.
one room. Okay.
This is all one room. The stairs just take off immediately to your right and go up, but there's some storage area under the stairs that some of these things are stored in. You also hear a very soft sound of croaking. And
like a frog croaking?
Yes, ribbit, ribbit kind of croaking. The chickens are making chicken sounds, and you can tell enough of what's going on here that it feels like the acrid smell is coming from some of the stuff stored under the stairs. There are some barrels there.
I kind of want to investigate that area before going towards the spiral staircase. I don't know if people want to hang back or investigate other areas. I kind of want to try to, like, if motion for someone to like go by the stove to like douse the flames or whatever.
Me and Alex are still outside. It's only you and Sylvia in there right now.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'm Captain Dummy right here because I'm an orc with low intelligence. So I'm like, hey, that stove, douse it. And I'm making weird hand signals, and I'm moving over towards, in the dark, mind you, as well. I can see it. I don't know if they can. But I'm going to go to the under staircase. You said that there was something that I could probably investigate because of the barrels and whatnot.
Yeah, there's various storage things, and there is one barrel that has a very strong odor. It actually burns your nostrils a bit. You also notice as you stand there in front of that barrel that one of the cupboards against the far wall from the door is like irony itself. It's completely out of place. It is a beautifully painted, hand-painted cupboard with flowers and birds on the front of it, very lacquered. It doesn't look like it belongs in this awful mess of a kitchen.
I think I'll check that first. Can I open it?
Yes.
I see that it's out of place, so I'm doing that one first.
As you stumble across the mess that's in the floor, give me a perception roll regarding what you are stumbling through.
One moment, perception.
See, that's
not
enough.
too bad.
By the way, it's fairly dark in here. The windows are so grimy that almost no light comes in. You can just barely see, and you can tell that if you're going to do a lot of perception stuff, you probably are going to eventually need some source of light. But here in the kitchen, you are getting a little bit of light. Vision. Okay, yes, but I'm talking the party in general, and there is a little bit of light coming out of the stove, the large stove area. So you're getting some weak light in this location, but the group needs to be aware that there is a darkness issue here in this thing. So when as you stumble across, you look down. That is enough to give me a nature check, please, to see if you recognize what you are seeing.
Ooh, not gonna be a good one, I think. Yeah, not too bad.
You still have
Not too good.
guidance.
No, I used that on myself.
Oh.
This would probably be well out of the minute that it would last.
Can I roll that as well?
I don't think so.
In the building?
Yeah.
Since
Yeah, Sylvia
I
and-
haven't had a chance to do perception myself.
Anybody who's inside can give me first a perception to see if they're really paying attention. And then if they are, Sylvia definitely is. Yeah, you're
Damn
okay.
straight.
So far, everybody has noticed something on the floor, and you need to give me the nature checks to see if you identify it. Riz does.
Damn.
Sylvia doesn't. Sylvia is not an
All right.
outdoor person.
No, I am
Riz-
not.
Riz, or Victor, however, is very much the outdoor person. He has spent a lot of time in the wilderness, and he very quickly
Wait, isn't he a bat still?
would recognize to himself. I don't know how he would.
I'm actually going to
this.
check if I can talk in bat form because I'm not sure.
You can't. You
You might wanna check
only
these things.
squeak in bat form. You only have the ability to communicate in animal form of the animal. So.
What's that, Timmy?
Oh, this is where
Hold on to
I should be. This is where I should be doing speak with animals.
He says this. The bat says no.
Let me whisper, Victor, what he finds here. Just a moment.
Sure.
At this point, all I can hear is squeaky, squeaky. What was that, Timmy? Did Lassie fall down the well?
Do I have to be like standing still to like cast?
It's a since it's a ritual. It's probably gonna have to be a seated, meditative.
Spell.
Okay.
It's got to GM.
Victor,
It is.
Victor does not share that information.
Well, you can't anyways. You're a
You're a
bat.
bastard.
I could change out of bat form if I wanted to, but yeah.
Because we're making fun of you now. That's why you're gonna
Well, no,
refuse this information.
I'm trying to, commune with animals so that I could be able to speak with them. Actually, no, Durock's not smart enough to think of that. I'm not going to. That'd be metagaming right there, I think.
No, I mean,
Durock's not smart enough to think of
Well,
it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think either one of us, since we went in first, know that Victor decided to go squeaky squeaky on us. So we just see it as another bat in this house. Or a bat inside of this place.
Sylvia
I mean,
and Durock.
We were outside when he changed. Yes.
Sylvia and Durock. All they are able to tell is that something seems to be crushing and grinding under your feet. It is dim enough in this room that you are not entirely sure what you are grinding, but when you step on it, it sort of pulverizes.
I could feel like the vibrations of the grinding.
Yeah, just like maybe if you had, I don't know, something powdery like chalk, and you stepped on a large piece of chalk and the chalk ground under your feet.
Oh, so I'm stepping on it and I'm causing the grinding.
I'm
Yes.
gonna crouch down. Gonna crouch
regret
down.
this.
I'm gonna stick my finger in it and I'm going to taste it.
Oh,
I was just gonna say I would assume that Durock would probably think all he's stepping on are bones. That's what I'm thinking that is what's happening, but it's Durock's not making the.
What do I need to roll to figure out if I know what this is?
If you are tasting it and looking at it that close, roll perception with advantage.
Ooh.
Nope. God damn it.
You aren't certain of what you're doing. Again, you get this almost feeling like it's a chalk. And you aren't quite sure what chalk would be doing in here. It is definitely a substance that has it, although it is almost more shardy than chalk. Chalk turns into a complete powder. This, when it grinds underfoot, turns into like slivers.
I'm gonna get a pouch, just like one of the random little belt pouches that I have, and I'm going to dust some of it inside for later use, because God knows if it's going to be good enough for reagents.
Alright, so, have I inspected the closet or whatever, the thing that's out of place inside this windmill?
What you
Because
find...
what I was doing was trying to open it.
Right. The cabinet contains a bunch of wooden bowls, and it looks like there are herbs in these bowls. They are carefully lined up like she has memorized what's in them. Some of them, even with in the dimness with your dark vision, you can recognize things that look like baking ingredients, flour and sugar and so forth. There's one bowl that is full of the splinters of a powdery substance similar to what you're walking on. Also hanging inside, inside the door itself on little hooks, when you swing the door back, there are numerous little hooks, like maybe a dozen of these little hooks, and on each one of them, as you touch it, it feels like it's hair, human hair.
On the hook, or is the hook?
Hanging on the hooks. There are like a dozen of these hooks with human hair dangling on them. There's also 3 small labeled containers. They're like vials. One of them is a golden syrupy looking stuff, and the label on the outside says youth. Those youths. The second one is a dark brown substance that looks like, kind of like tea leaves, and it is they're floating in a brownish liquid, that is, and it is labeled laughter. And the third one is a green milk, very pale green, almost white but not quite green liquid, kind of thick, that is labeled mother's milk. Vlad, are you in the room?
Nope.
All right. When and
I was
if...
intentionally left outside.
Okay. When and if...
Oh, I meant you guys could follow us. Just let us go in first.
Like, nobody bothered to follow. Like, I'm going
In that
to...
case, Vlad will look down at his non-existent timepiece and start going in, cast light on himself so he can actually see. First thing he's going to do is look down at the floor, see what's underfoot grinding.
Okay, and be aware that probably only about...
If you're trying to be sneaky, are you sure you want to cast light?
In the dark.
The thing is, like, the plan is that, like, let us sneaky types go first, then him come up so that he can see. Like,
Yeah, obviously there's
trying
no
to do
one
so
in
that-
this room.
yeah.
Everyone,
All right,
roll
here,
perception.
Alex was just waiting for the sound of combat to go in.
Oh,
Everyone,
my-
Everyone, roll perception.
roll perception.
Cat, you have chosen the
Slightly
wrong
better.
time to stand on my shoulders.
It's
What
literally
did I do?
the first time
Oh, I rolled a 19. The one time I want it to be high.
Okay, anyone who rolls above an 11, which is pretty much all of you,
Yay!
it kind of freezes in place as you hear from distantly above you, you hear cackling. And this kind of cackling is not like chickens. This is like women cackling, old women cackling. And they are apparently
I've
just
never heard of it that being
laughing.
chickens.
They are laughing their heads off about something. It sounds like there's more than one of them, definitely. So you are aware you are not alone. There is somebody above you.
Do we recognize one of the voices as
I'm
the
going to say
hag
no,
that we
Vlad, not on
encountered?
this trip.
Okay.
Oh, no, that was she was
Okay.
responding to a question that I asked.
Oh. So, what was the question?
He just wanted to see
I
if
was
he was
just-
able to do something. And no, you went directly here and there wasn't any time to
Oh, I thought it was the what we were seeing. Never mind.
No.
What did
Actually,
he
no,
did
you do
turn
not.
on lights so that he could...
It does not sound like voices that you have heard before. That sounds like a couple of voices, and they don't sound like ones you've heard before.
Okay.
If Vlad looks at the ingredients, especially the one labeled mother's milk, give me a. Wish they had an alchemy roll. Give me a. I'm going to make it perception because it would be in your neck of the woods, not survival necessarily.
I was going to say, actually, Alex got training that as well.
Yeah, the rest of you would have to use probably. Yeah, give me a perception. I'm going to give Vlad actually the benefit of the doubt because this is absolutely in his line of work, shall we say, of what he has been studying. When he shakes the light green milky bottle, he instantly identifies it as very likely a poisonous substance he's heard about before.
Vlad will. Is this the only bottle around?
There
was two other bottles.
3 bottles altogether.
3 bottles of mother's milk?
There was a golden bottle.
One labeled youth.
Labeled youth. A brown kind of thin tea-looking liquid with leaves floating in it that is labeled laughter, and a greenish, pale green, thick liquid labeled mother's milk. But you believe, as you look at this bottle with your expertise, actually I ought to give you expertise in something, probably survival. You probably should check expertise on your sheet because of that. It would be expertise only if you are doing an alchemy check. So I'm not sure how we'll identify that. You have, I would give you a +3 on your alchemy checks.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
You recognize it, the mother's milk, as probably pale tincture, which is a very, very dangerous poison.
Vlad will look at this, his eyes will go wide, and then he will quickly get out, so what do I have spare? He will get out some spare clothes and give these 3 bottles heavy padding. And put them in his backpack.
Quick question for the DM. How big is the space we are in?
Very cramped. I would say probably
Very
Alex
cramped, okay.
will not be able to get into the room until some of you go upstairs. The only reason that 5 of you basically are in here, if there are 5, if Monarch is in there. Monarch is small size, and Victor is a bat. Other than that, if you were all full size, you wouldn't have all been able to get in, as many as are in now. The people who are outside are going to have to wait until somebody moves up the stairs.
So I guess while I let Vlad inspect the cabinet, I'm gonna try and pry open one of those barrels that I'm getting the horrible smell from.
All right. By the way, the chest that next to the cabinet, right beside you there, is the one where the croaking.
Wait, chest or barrel?
There's barrels under the stairs. Right next to the cabinet, there is a chest that I told you about when you first came in. That was next.
Yep, I do remember the chest, but I'm leaving that alone.
I know, but all I'm telling you, Dirok, what I'm telling you is, as you stand there, you are able to hear the croaking sounds now coming from that chest at your feet. Now, you can turn your attention to the barrel under the stairs where the acrid smell is coming from.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
When you open the barrel, there is a greenish black, very thick, verging on gel-like substance in the barrel, and it actually has a bit of a glow to it. It's dark in the room, and there's just the slightest bit of aura coming off of this greenish black liquid. It's horrible smelling, horrible looking stuff.
Oh, that's not good.
Do I have to make some kind of roll to identify this?
You would, in your
Or make a
expertise
guess,
and
I
your
guess.
background, you would have disadvantage on any roll that you did with this.
Ooh, what should I do? Investigation,
You
nature,
can do-
perception.
You can do an investigation roll for me, but you will have disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Come on, double 20s. 13 ain't bad.
You aren't able to tell everything about it, but you can like feel the hairs prickle on the back of your neck when you're near this liquid. It just feels like it's something very corrupted. You don't know what its purpose is, but you know that it ain't healthy.
I guess since it's glowing, some of us would be able to see it. Can I make a roll to see if I know what it is?
Yes.
And what would I be
You would not
rolling
roll.
exactly?
You
Same
would
thing as
roll
him?
investigation, but not at disadvantage with your background.
Okay.
Ooh.
Where's investigation? There it is.
Yeah.
Nope. You are,
My rolls suck.
again, even with that roll and your background, you would feel the same thing Dirok did. You aren't ignorant of it. You don't know exactly what it's used for, but you, with what you have experienced in your background, you are aware that it doesn't have purposes that decent people use.
I'm just gonna look at Durak and go, don't touch.
Wasn't planning to, and
I'm sure.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna rummage and grab my bone dagger and put a little bit of the tip in to see if like there's any kind of like dissolving, if there's something that we should absolutely avoid, or if something else happens. I guess.
No, it doesn't dissolve the bone
Like-
dagger. It just coats itself over the end of the dagger where you stuck it in and kind of sticks to it, kind of like honey.
Yeah, the bladed end of the bone dagger.
Shadow,
Huh?
what you like me to today?
What are you
By all
telling?
means, if you.
Yeah. Nope. I'm kind of
So,
like wipe
first-
the dagger.
First, Vlad will walk up to the chest, give it a look over.
It doesn't look like it's locked. It's you can pretty well see that the hasp is just laying open on it, and certainly with
And
that
it'll
roll,
cast
you don't.
thaumaturgy on it.
Okay.
God, why do you do that? It makes so much noise.
No, it doesn't. It just says it opens it. It doesn't say it slams it open. I've just been slamming it open because I want to.
Alright.
The lid opens carefully, and a whole bunch of frogs jump out and start hopping across the floor.
Oh no, it does say fly open or slam shut.
Yeah.
I mean, they already know we're here, though.
From
They probably
above,
Do they?
from above, you
I'm
hear.
not so sure.
From above, you hear. Hey, who is that? Have you come for my pies?
Oh. I guess not.
God
God
damn it, Vlad. This is why we don't
Clank,
take
clank,
you anywhere
clank,
anymore.
Clank, clank, clank.
No, this isn't even clank, clank, clank. This is you using thaumaturgy when Dirok told you not to.
I mean,
I'm
thaumaturgy
gonna-
wouldn't have made any more noise than me clanking around would have.
Yeah, but you're
I
not
could have
running in the
I could have
armor,
at
you're
least given them a surprise.
I
Not
fly,
that surprise.
I
Is
fly
coming
into
down the
Vlad's hair
stairs.
and get tangled in it.
Someone
Wait,
is
I'm
coming
sorry, what was
down the stairs. Step, step.
Just hide.
Who is that?
You-
Who is
Turn off
that?
your light.
I
Turn off your light.
wasn't planning
Just
on
hide.
selling anything today. What are you doing down there?
Just hide. Vlad will cast thaumaturgy on Dirok. Or not the thaumaturgy, as guidance on Dirok. Just hide.
Yep, I'm hiding underneath the stairs, shield up, spear ready.
Vlad
Guarantee
goes
not
and hangs
all
from
of
the
you.
rafters.
I can guarantee not all of you would be able to hide. Dirok claimed the underside of the stairs. He now has this awful ichor right in his nose, right there as he's doubled over under the stairs. Victor is
I've
up
dealt
in
with
the
dead bodies before.
is up there in the rafters. But the other two people that were in here, Sylvia, what are you doing?
Time is it? Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna hide. I'm gonna stay there and act like I accidentally walked into something I shouldn't have.
And Vlad, what are you doing?
I am Sylvia. I make bad decisions. Can I buy a pie?
Vlad is standing there waiting for her to come downstairs.
And sure enough, coming down the stairs, hobbling down, is the old woman that you saw in Barovia Village. Exactly the same
So she
woman.
doesn't recognize us.
Can I
Hello
attempt
there.
The one who broke her cart was Dirok, and he's hiding.
Yep.
She comes down the stairs. Oh, here you are back again. Have you decided to buy some of my pies? They're not quite done yet. They'll be done in a few minutes.
Actually, I was more curious about the process you use to make them. Of course, we will be buying pies as part of us being here. Just if it will allow us to see your process, I wish to see how exactly you make these wonderful pies. They allow us so much rest in this.
We're making a documentary.
Oh dear, you don't have to tell her all that. I mean, honestly, you really should wait outside with the cart.
And
Vlad will look at Sylvia and say, "If you wish me to."
Yeah, just go outside and wait with the cart. And she kind of gives him this look like, let the others know what the fuck is going on inside.
Vlad will walk outside. I mean,
Morgantha
Monarch
looks at the
and-
floor.
outside is out.
Why did you open the chest? Now I'm going to have to gather up all these frogs. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be prying around in here.
Sorry,
I'm
that
sorry.
I thought that was my fault. I accidentally walked into it and kicked it open.
Frowns at you and give me a deception roll.
She's
Oh.
the bard.
Hey. Bard's gotta do what a bard's
damn
gonna do.
it.
She sees
Like the
right
seven-
through you. And she says, "You're not really here for my pies. Go away, go away. I don't want any visitors."
I'm just gonna cast hold person on her.
Ah! And she is standing. She has her back to Dirok.
And doing that at a level 3.
Why level 3?
Just because I want to make sure she stays held.
That's what I thought. You don't even get the bonus specs. It doesn't give you any extra things. It lets you target one.
Okay, she's
additional
human.
person.
Alright, yeah, I'll just do it at 2 then. Sorry, I thought it was it raised up the difficulty.
Hey, let me give her a wisdom roll. "17. Your DC's not that high, is it?
15. Yeah, no.
She waves her hands and
Yeah,
goes,
like
"Don't
the
try
Nazi
that
guild
stuff
probably
with me!"
mine.
And she reaches around behind her. She was standing
Vlad
with her,
cast silence.
Yep. I don't let her reach. I go out to attack.
she reaches around. We're going to roll initiative to see if she succeeds. But she had her back right against Dirok, against the stairs. She had come down and steps. She had not seen Dirok. Dirok will get a surprise attack. However, she has slammed, as this starts, she has slammed her hand against the side of the open barrel. And the glow in the barrel is brighter, considerably brighter.
Uh-oh. So,
Roll
you said to
initiative.
roll initiative?
Yes.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
You never
My
let me know.
initiative is 1.12.
I think you need to fix that.
I think
There we go.
If that was a little higher, I would have thought he was just excited for pie.
First roll of the night.
Okay. Let me get the thing up.
Oh, speaking of which, since Marcus supposedly inside, where was Marcus this entire time?
Yeah,
I tried to chime up, but a lot of description was going on, so I kind of just kept quiet. So I guess I'm just standing by your legs, but you obscured me, so...
Well, I am
I'll
wearing
make
that
it
cloak.
outside.
Sophie still has that cloak on, so I mean, you could be hiding behind that.
So I'm behind or outside, it's up to the GM.
Well, she said you could fit, so the only person who could fit outside would be Alex.
Yeah, Alex is the only person who definitely wouldn't fit.
Peeking through the window.
If we could throw her out the door, we'll fight her there and make it easier on you.
So, DM, I got a question.
Yes.
Seeing as she did not see me, she would have been surprised by my attack? Would that... Okay, I just wanted to... Alright. Alright. Alright, I fly into a rage, and I'm going to attack her as soon as my...
Just break through the stairs behind her. Or just go straight up.
Right.
Come out of the floor like some weird version of the Hulk and go.
Nice.
I get 2 attacks for attacking. So, does a 12... Well, I'm assuming a 20 would hit, but does the 12 hit?
The 12 does not hit. And it looks like
Oh.
she has, those with magic would be able to tell she probably has a little bit of protection on herself. I'm going to double check this just a moment. I want to see something. Yeah, that's what she's got. Okay,
Actually... That...
but the 20 does hit, yes.
Okay.
What are you striking her with?
The blood spear. One-handed. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I did two-handed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Who generally was the closest to her when all this went down?
You and
Besides
Duroc.
Duroc coming up from behind.
You and Duroc,
Okay.
as you were talking to her.
Yeah. I had thoughts in mind and then thoughts went away. Sorry. And you say the goopy stuff is glowing? You say?
Yes, and I'm starting my countdown. 10.
I'm gonna dispel magic on the goop.
She said she was going to dispel magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me... It does.
So it looks like choose any creature. It says here, choose any creature, object, or magical effect within range. Object I would assume would be the goo.
If it's an actual spell,
Yeah.
if it's a magical effect, not a spell, it would be
That's
a ruling.
the
If
thing
it
that
is
I
a
made the
spell-
ruling, is because this is not a spell.
Alright,
It's a
then-
fine line here, and I'm not quite sure. The magical effect.
Then I would say consider what it does, and you decide whether it would be the equivalent of third level spell or
I
lower.
am going
And if it
to
is,
roll
it is
for
spell,
her.
or what you do is just say since it's not a spell.
Let me do her spellcasting ability here.
Oh, here's something you can do. You can have Sylvie roll because it's not actually a spell. You can have her roll to see if her magic will take effect on something that is not classified as a spell.
Well, it doesn't say spell because it says choose any creature, object, or magical effect.
Or magical effects. There you go.
Okay. Well, I considered it an object, so that's why I wasn't
In
sure.
this case, I would consider it a magic.
Okay.
DC is 15. She rolled 15. Status quo.
Oh,
it
it would be
says-
Sylvia that makes the roll, by the way.
Hold on. Any spell of third level or lower on the target ends. For a spell higher, the target make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. So I'm assuming that's a 13 then.
Not a spell. That's why I.
Well, no,
that's why I'm
on the
having
spell,
trouble doing it.
on the spell itself, the spell magic itself.
Yes.
I think is what it means.
To exceed the spell's ability. This is not a spell.
Okay.
Effect. So I am giving. What I am doing is I'm basically doing a roll off between her power
Okay.
of creating this effect and your power to supersede it. Since it was an equal, if you want, you can do a charisma roll or your spellcasting effect against her 15 roll. I was
Okay, so I
using your
would
DC.
do. Okay. So just from the left hand side of the page, it's just the charisma thing right there that I'm hitting, or do I have to do the saving throw?
What is your modifier?
Sorry, for which charisma?
Wisdom
It's
or
a
charisma, or what,
plus
whichever it
4.
is. Plus 4. That would be
It's
a
cool for mine to be charisma. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a. And even if I used your DC, it would be a 15 against her 15. So I'm going to say nothing happened. But you feel like you are doing a push shove against an wall.
At that point, I'm just going to screen up. He is doing magic.
I do not. Wait, what? Doesn't matter because I go last.
Well, oh wait, does Monarch go before me? Does Monarch go before me, or?
This was the surprise round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I will first off shimmy and get up my counter so I can make some room for people to get in. I'm small, so I'm going to stand on my counter to make some room.
You can stand on the chicken coop that's in the middle of the room holding 3 chickens. You notice some eggs in the chicken coop as well.
Good to know. Oh, down there, slight magenta aura flares up around him. It's not all my attacks kind of magical, so I'm basically saying that he's now learned how to project his energy outside his body, so it's not internal anymore. So it's like magenta aura flares up around him, and he'll keep his thing, and he'll simply say, "Where are the children?" Here's what that And that's my all actions. These are all my actions. First things first, is that my all actions? I spoke. Okay, so I'll just figures out, point, and just send 2 bolts into that barrel, whatever it is. Or cube. Can I shoot the cube? Or should I shoot her? What do you guys think?
I would not do. Yeah, I would shoot her because I am standing right next to it.
Yeah, Dirk is a little close to the goop.
I'll fire 2 bolts there then.
DM is actually disappointed that you didn't fire it into the barrel. Nevertheless, you hit her for 7 points. So she has now been hit twice. And Sylvia, you basically did that on your turn, so it would have that would have been your action, was your attempt to undo whatever it is she's doing and hitting this brick wall. So Morgantha has not yet been silenced because Vlad has not had his turn, but she does. And the barrel start to glow, and demonic, really. It doesn't look natural human. It looks twisted and so forth. It is only about the size of Monarch, but it is clawing its way out of the barrel.
Right, so that's dangerous.
And it looks like this. Monarch is.
Protect your shins.
Duroc, you now have your regular turn.
I have a great idea. I see her put her hand onto the barrel, and I see something bad is happening. I'm going to grapple her.
Okay.
Power bomb.
So what do I do? What is that, strength check, or do I do athletics?
Athletics.
Yeah, athletics against her strength or dexterity, and she will.
And I do have advantage on strength checks while I'm raging. 23. Yes.
I think strength related, so yeah.
She
Athletics,
actually,
athletics.
you are surprised.
No.
You are surprised.
No.
She screeches, and her strength is exactly equal to your.
Oh no.
Before your eyes.
The heel turn. The heel turn. The other hat comes in with the chair.
Right.
Why didn't this work? This should have. There we go.
So.
Are lengthening. Wild dark hair streams around her face in all directions, and long teeth appear in her mouth. And she appears to have.
She's a werewolf.
She screeches loudly.
Oh, Granny, how freaking
So,
idiots you are.
quick question. Extra attack. I don't get a second attack or a second grapple or attempt or something.
Any attack action can be made a grapple, so can't you? Because we got with me when I was gay, but that was a long time ago. But now your rules are now. So technically, grapple twice to turn as him.
Do what? Oh no, it's a.
But no, it's my
Per the rules,
Yes.
you can use one when you make an attack action. You can change one attack for either a push or a shove. It doesn't use the action; just uses one of your attacks.
So could I potentially try to grapple again or no?
Grapple, but you can change it to a push or shove rather than a grappling and try again.
So I can't make a second
Roll
grapple.
again if you want to pull her down under the stairs, or pull her into the barrel, or shove her into the chicken coop, or whatever. You can make a pull.
So, all right. So would that be athletics again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask.
22.
Oh, sorry.
That should be the 22. Yeah, I'm raging, so I have advantage on my strength checks.
Just went for the headbutt when she nailed it.
Well, when I was going to, because she said that I could push, pull, or whatever. What the plan was, I wanted to dunk her head into the barrel. Would that be allowed?
That with your roll, you would be able to pull her into the goop.
All right, then that's the
That might be
plan. I'm pulling her into the barrel, like Judge Doom did to that shoe in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, this is gonna be bad. That might be bad. That's gonna be
Bad for her. Bad for her.
That's a bad run.
Why would it be barreled? Why would it be barreled? It should have been in the bathtub if it was actually beneficial for her.
Who touched it, Nick Lode? Bad for us.
Yeah, bad for us, which also means bad for her. She's actually kind of demon, but it can't be beneficial to her skin. I'm at least giving her a rash.
Lovely.
With that logic, I hope so.
Gloves and
But I'm essentially dunking her head in.
she gloves.
Yeah, I'm essentially dunking her head.
She gloves and bubbles for a while and struggles. She will try to get out of the barrel on her next.
Just hold on to the entire time.
He can't do that because he failed his grapple. But he has briefly stuck her head under, and she is now trying to force her way out of the barrel. All right, Alexander, you are at the door. Alexander, you are at the door. What are you going to do?
I have two geometry questions first. One, roughly where is she in the actual room? Because I have a 10-foot reach, which makes things a little different.
Yes, that's why I'm asking. The way I am looking at this, I would say she is within your 10 feet. However, she has cover because of all the stuff. The stairs start almost right at the door, just like 5 feet from the door. So she would have come down the stairs and...
Okay. Poke her in the butt.
Oh,
That's what
yeah, I
I
had
say.
the option to poke in the butt. I actually have another question. Is Durlock basically splashed her face into the thing? He's not able to keep it there, obviously.
No.
Not yet. I'm going to try again next turn.
That's how I understood it. All right. Well, I feel like things are pretty obvious what I should be doing here. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna try and trip her. Oops, wrong button. Well, technically the right button. Oh, I rolled a 1.
Yeah,
Come on, trip yourself.
So, blade con the door.
the door and her, that it just...
Right, well, I still have a second attack.
Okay.
I'm going to try and swing at that. Pole arm 20. Does that actually hit?
Yeah, 20 hits. And you hit
It's
it.
like a silver.
You yank it out of the cart and yank it so...
Just hit her with a card.
in anger at the damage that you have done on her.
A question quickly. Sylvia's still in the room, correct?
Yes.
I would have
That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. There's a monarch, there's a Sylvia, there's a bat in the rafters, there's a cart, there's a chicken coop, there's a lot of barrels and boxes. This room is packed.
I'm on the coop list, so I know why.
He's going to shout out to Sylvia, back off, or run. Maneuver attack.
Easier said than done.
You get half your movement without provoking attacks of opportunity.
Okay, you will have a free action, and Sylvia, your best plan.
Also an additional 5 damage. Really stick it to her.
Your best plan of attack is to move counterclockwise or walkway towards the oven. That's about the only way you will be able to move out of her range. But you will be around the opposite side of the chicken coop where Monarch is standing on your turn, if you choose to use this. Or is she able to move on your turn, Alexander?
Is able to move on my turn, as in this exact moment, I stick her with a spear, and magically, someone I declare, Sylvia in this case, gets half the movement speed, basically without attacks of opportunity.
And I have taken the 5 damage off of her. And so, Sylvia, you have a free action. You move. Do you move as far as you can get around the circle, which will take you in front of the stairs?
I was actually I was actually going to wonder. Okay, so crazy question. So from where I am to where the barrel is to where the Crone is to where Duroc is, how close is the stairs?
As you are now, you are about 10 feet from the stairs. If you back around the circle, you will be 15.
I kind of want to try to scramble, use the witch as a leverage point and get up onto the stairs. Can't do that? Okay. An acrobatics check.
That is sticking, her rump is sticking out in the walk space with her head in the barrel. There is a demon wise. Clockwise is towards the stair, counterclockwise towards the oven.
Alright, so not gonna get able to get up the stairs from where I'm at right now,
You're trapped.
based on the layout.
You are trapped.
I wanted to get up the stairs. Yeah, I'll back up towards the oven, I guess. It's not where I want to go, but it's the only place I can go, then I'll move there. Not leaving, that's stupid.
That's fine.
You
You
said
are.
you could get out of the room.
Yeah, she can.
Yeah.
By the stove, right?
Yeah, I
The stove
want to go upstairs, that's the
You are
problem.
not.
That's my problem. It's like, well, no, I mean, I'm not going, not up, but I wanted to get, like, up them to be at, like, a height advantage. Yeah, I know, I figure. I just want to be clear that it's not, like, going all the way up.
Close to a 6 o'clock position. The oven is about an 8 o'clock position. The cabinet position. You are trapped behind everybody that came position beyond the stove.
Unless you want to go on the chicken coop with me.
Yeah. You know, going to the door is the last thing I'm doing.
And the stairs here approaching footsteps
Yeah,
from
that's-
above you.
And that's why I want to get to the stairs.
Regardless,
let's
I
just put
set
it in
myself for an attack, and I don't believe I can. Yeah, I need to do that rather than try and get myself out of the way of the door. So yeah, that'll be the end of my turn.
Demon's turn.
Okay, the green demon-looking thing screeches and makes this horrible thing that just like pierces your ears. And the first thing he does is he releases what I will cloud of fart.
Oh no.
Yummy.
No!
So you had a bad day.
Of the barrel. So he is about 12 feet from Sylvia. Duroc, he's right up against. Monarch is within range. It has a 10-foot radius. A 10-foot radius of disgusting green glass extends out from the creature.
I would like to cutting words him.
Is this a reaction?
This is a reaction.
Okay.
Do you can do that? What? That's cool.
Because based off of my spell list that I have right now, I probably would know what that thing is casting, and I know it is not fun.
It's fine. It's fine. I've got the power of pink, I'm fine.
That would be
Yeah, because it says that it can be applied to attack, ability, or damage.
But
Constitution
this is
save.
not a damage roll. This is an
An
effect.
ability check.
Yes.
So
So
This is a Constitution save.
do a Constitution save and add 5 to your roll.
24. I feel constituted.
22.
However, Monarch, let me see what the I gotta the
14?
DC
No, it'd be 14 with the
actually he
five.
beats it too. Okay, so even
right.
Monarch beats that. So all three
Along with
of
the
you
bard.
managed to beat this, and you can tell that this green goo that he farted. Very ill. If you didn't get a whiff of it. All right, now we are up to Victor. And it's clear we will not finish this fight, so be aware we will be stopping in the middle of this.
Victor is going to drop down and attack the hag, still as a bat, just making a huge mess, kind of flapping around in her hair and trying to slash and bite her. So, let's see, do I actually have an emote for my unarmed strike? I do, okay.
The hag now gets vampirism.
Oh wait, no, this is not a good idea.
It's a whatever.
Wait, curiosity question, does Victor need to breathe?
Victor does not need to breathe.
No, he's immune to poison too, and then even dead.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
in that case,
That's kind of immune to poison.
yeah, that would not have affected you at all, even if you hadn't rolled well. But the bite attacks her.
I don't have advantage from surprise or anything?
He was in the rafters.
You, so I'm going to say yes, you do. Because she was not looking at the rafters, didn't know you were there at all. So it would make total sense that you would have stealth advantage on that. So yes, I will give you stealth advantage.
In that case, yes, 16 piercing and 30 necrotic. Plus the unarmed strike.
Where's
so,
the 30? 15.
It was crit.
8 plus 7 is 15.
Does the necrotic not get crit as well?
No, the
Yeah,
8 plus
doubling
7.
from the crit.
No, it's the 8 plus 7 is the crit. You roll the die again.
Oh.
And
Oh,
that's
sure.
why
Yeah,
it says
we're thinking of this. Okay, yeah, sorry.
But she took 8 piercing damage and 15 necrotic. Now, what on your
Plus
effect?
the 10 bludgeoning.
You didn't hit her with the unarmed strike.
With the advantage? Did I have advantage for both, or only the bite? Yeah, so 18 plus 15. So 33 damage. It might. I think I can regain HP, but I'm at full. Let me double check.
Any damage over time affects on her.
I'm pulling it up now. This is actually the first time that I've bitten somebody mid-fight. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the target's hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken,
That's what
and
is
I
the
regain
normal,
hit points
yes.
equal to that amount.
Yes, that is the normal with necrotic, so that is exactly what I was looking for. So let me take her maximum hit points down by 15.
I'm going to try and just stay kind of around her head and just be as annoying as possible.
Okay.
Annoying / frightening, depending on her disposition. Probably her back. Her head is still kind of dunked in before.
What does she pull her head out?
So it kind of just gnawing on the back, like,
Yeah, so around like the back of her head.
Monarch, or Vallaki, excuse me, it is your turn. Remember, she has
Right,
partial
so-
cover.
right, just push cover. I'm not worried about that. Cover doesn't work with Sacred Flame. But
Okay.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to... No, that's an action. Okay, so I'm going to cast Bless on Durok, Victor, and Alex. I'm going to cast Bless on. So you get a D4 to attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. That lasts for a minute. I'm going to put my concentration on. There we go. And then I'm going to summon my spiritual weapon as a bonus action.
Okay.
So Fun Blade comes before.
Let me put the hammer out so that are you summoning a hammer?
As a short. Whatever works. It's just basically a spinning sword. And my spiritual weapon will take a swing at the demon thing. And I'm doing all this from outside of the door because I already said that I was going to be outside. So I'm standing outside the door next to Alex, just summoning magical effects. I summoned it on top of the, you said this room was 20 feet wide, right? So I summoned it on top of the demon thing, and it's just swirling in the demon right now.
The demon, and he is... Yes, you definitely hit him. And you have smacked him for 5 damage.
Alright, that's about all I can do.
Okay, Monarch, it's your turn. We will do one more round before we call it for the night.
Alright. I will confront this short imposter. There's only enough room for one short member of the party here. I would leap off the cage and I will spend a key point and do 4 unarmed strikes. So basically, go for like sweep and elbow. That's when the keys get fury blows, which just means 2 is the bonus action. So, 1, 2.
Don't blast any of that light shit at me.
There you go.
The
That's
first
spending
one,
a key point, so
first one and the third one hit. She takes,
it's all leg sweeps and elbows.
so she takes 10.
That was a demon, by the way, not her.
Oh, the demon. All right, let me take it off.
It was
Demon.
thingy.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, only room for one short thing in here.
So 12
I
damage.
keep picturing you as
When you hit him, you really, I mean, you smacked him good. He like has green goo dripping out the side of his mouth, and one eye is swelling shut, and he is not looking in good shape. So you did some serious damage to him with that hit. Sylvia, it's your turn.
Oh.
10.
Let's see here. Yeah, I know. I'm debating whether I want to do this on this thing or not.
Okay.
I'm actually going to cast. Nope, can't do that. Sorry. Vicious Mockery on a little thing
Okay.
at this point. And did it go through? No. All right.
It's being
Hold on a second.
slow.
My click is not working.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the clicking didn't work. All right. What is it? 1d4 psychic. Let me just roll it straight out and save us all time. Boop. So that would be for doing Vicious Mockery, which
And
is
does he roll
must succeed on wisdom saving throw,
And you did it on the
and then has just
demon?
1 hit short stack.
And my wisdom, there it comes. Boy, it's constipated tonight.
Oh.
He fails it very badly.
I just realized that I actually increased the damage because I hit 5th level. I'm supposed to be doing 2d4.
Roll extra
I just-
d4.
So,
Calm.
hey, 4 is a great total. I don't care.
Yeah. That's a good average.
So
I'll keep that in mind. Okay, so we know at least these things are squishy as all get.
Do I see any difference with her now that her head is out? Like, is her skin burning, or?
to have a disadvantage on her defenses because of the inability to see a weapon coming at her. She has a disadvantage on physical attacks for 1 round. And a second creature comes out of the goo.
Bring it. Look at that tiny little couple going on. Come on. What you got?
Yeah, Victor's gonna stop breathing if he hasn't already.
Bring it. I got punches for everyone.
And
Alright,
Daryl,
so before I go and make my attack, is there, like, say I want to try to grapple her to move her away from the barrel, is there any room to do so that she can't touch the barrel again, if I was to do that?
grapple her,
Or,
you can push her towards the door, I will say. If you succeed at your grapple.
okay,
Kill her on the spike.
then yeah, I'm gonna try and push her away from the barrel.
In the oven.
Is that possible? And is there an opening for me to try to push her towards the oven?
With your strength, if you succeed in your roll, depending on how strongly you grapple her, you may shove her right through and out the door. But yes, you can try to grapple her. Using your body weight and your arm strength, you are going to try to grapple her right out through Alex. Alex will have to give me a dex roll if you succeed.
Alright, we're gonna try. Double 22.
The joys of strength.
Alex, see how well you...
Plus D4.
I'm trained in athletics. 14 is great. I don't have advantage.
Oh. Sorry about that.
He's got reaches about him.
on her back outside the door. She is on the ground
All right.
outside.
And now with this, can I use my extra attack?
Yes.
I'm going to extra attack with the spear. As soon as I get my spearing back up, make sure I do one-handed this time. Raging. Yes!
Oh! And definitely, since she was prone, that would have been an advantage anyway. Yeah, so you do 12 more damage to her. She has a lot of holes in her, but she's got even more screech left in her. She's got a lot of go still left in her. But she is incapacitated, turtle on her back at the moment.
So the idea of Alex being on his back, it's like, do you think that can stop me? It's 10 inch range, it doesn't stop, he's still got 10 range.
Be thankful I didn't roll to see if Organtha wound up on top of Alexander. That would have, considering what she
Just like
is,
in my anime.
considering
Well, I mean, he does
what
like the
she
women,
is,
so.
Second.
And the character is crushed.
And that ends my turn, so I pushed her out the door, and I charged up to slam the spear into her.
Oops. So I legitimately didn't mean to click that,
Okay.
but it was what I was going to do anyway. So I'll let you make your decisions. You know whether or not you want to count that.
If you
I
attack,
was going to say, my turn's up. I want to spend half my movement as that unit to stand back up.
okay,
Then I was going to click on that. I
Okay.
was just fixing something on my sheet when I hit it.
understood. So you hit her. You for 13 damage while
It's
she's.
just to be declared before the roll, right? Yeah, it has to be declared before the roll. Never mind.
You're fine.
I hit her
You're
for
fine.
13 damage.
You hit her for 13 damage.
I have a second attack. I am going to start with Great Weapon Master, so I'm rolling at a -5 to attack, but I have advantage because she's on the ground.
And it wouldn't matter.
So 15
Or
damage.
an extra 10 damage.
Is it total
So
10 or-
15 total for that one.
It's
It's
15.
or plus 10 damage.
Yeah, an
Yep.
So
additional
yeah,
10.
I'm dealing an extra 10 damage.
So 15
I'm
damage.
stabbing hard at the poor lady on the ground.
I don't see a poor
that's-
lady here. I only see Morgantha.
Well, Alex, the poor pie maker that the whole party's decided to murder. And he hasn't really had a chance to talk with her and say, maybe the kids are just slaves, and we're just not seeing her.
Hey, Alex, take a look at what she transformed into.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
I'm
thing
not
is
supposed to be
hideous. This thing
Yeah,
is
she turned into a
hideous.
fucking demon.
She is
Alex,
absolutely hideous.
This is not the same thing that you had with Isaac Strasny. This thing turned into a demon. You want to kill it.
Half orc.
I'm gonna kill you next.
Kitty. Just kidding. Fuck up the kiss.
That's that tell as well. That's my bonus action. I assume I'm fairly outside the door by this point. Hell.
Aren't they by the door now? Or they just don't have the rest of that space?
We have the 2 midget children, and then the witch is upside down.
So the demon wolf, the first demon that attacked, screeches and runs after him to attack. The second one stands there by the barrel and farts. And so that will affect only Monarch this time. Monarch, give me a constitution.
Do I get an attack opportunity?
No,
That demon was in front of me, so do I get...
no, this is a physical
No,
attack,
Oh, the other one that ran off.
not a range.
Is the one in front of me farting, or the one that was by the barrel farting?
The one in front of you
Who's
by
farting?
the barrel is farting.
Constitution save. Incoming.
I think what he's asking is the first demon. Is that the one that went out to attack me, or is it the second demon that went out to attack me?
I'm a frail little dude.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yes, and yes, you are right. As he runs past you, you would be able to get an attack of opportunity, a physical attack of opportunity. So give him your physical attack. And this is the one that was
I didn't have a
already
copy
injured.
thing, so they're jumping
Yeah,
along now.
this is the one that was already injured. That is enough to
Donkey Punch just clocked him in the jaw. Was he back?
dead as a doornail, adding more problems to the garbage that is underfoot. The second one, however,
Welcome to the Short Dome.
earned. So you are under the poison.
It's actually a condition in this. It's got a bunch of stuff about it. I'll see if I can fix it now.
I'm happy. I'm ruling the tiny Thunderdome right now.
Hey, I'm happy. You potentially... Well, I don't want to say you helped. I would have definitely been attacked right there if it weren't for you.
A poison creature has
Help out.
disadvantage on all attack.
Thank you. Poison got better than it used to be. Yeah. How much damage did I take from it?
I'm looking to see if there is any. Let's see. Let's see. Be poisoned at the start. While poisoned, the target can take either an
Oh,
actions.
that's good against a monk.
Yeah. So you are limited basically to choosing between an action or a bonus action. Make yourself a note because you'll need to remember that next week.
Got pencil and my notepad.
There's, you see feet appearing that are very twisted and bent, and you see a couple of, if you had able to make the door and attack, the first one will be able to make the door and attack your
Oh. Interruption.
Bring it!
Interruption. Alex is standing at the door for a reason. As they're coming
Oh, yeah.
within his
You were knocked
range,
out, though.
He gets a poke.
He was...
Stood up.
He stood up.
Okay.
Even if he is prone, he can still make attacks.
So, yeah, that's my first swing, which I believe...
something comes into play. Your swings miss. Because as the hag approaches down the stairs, she evaporates into a purple mist and slides past you out the door. However, she is not able to make her physical attack on this.
What?
She turned into this, but she can't do an attack now.
I got it, quite literally, but like spear through the air, what?
Yeah, the mist like just oozes past you out the door But the other hag is coming down the stairs behind her. Victor.
All right. Let's see. So is there room for Victor to be here, like standing, like in normal form?
There is.
Victor, I'd go outside.
However, you will be between the hag and Alexander.
Okay. Instead of,
Transforming belly flop from the ceiling.
well, no, I'm like over by the hag right now. So instead of trying to cram myself in somewhere, I'm just gonna go after the the hag again, same as before.
You could fly outside.
You're flying outside. She is outside.
Oh, sorry. Let's see.
Or you can go
I
after
can
one
split the party.
Also attack the one coming down the stairs.
Don't do it. Go outside. Go outside.
Hmm.
Because we're heading outside to help her anyway, so we're probably going to take this outside.
All right. Well, I will do that then. I will go outside. And is she on the ground now? So I could transform out of it? Okay. So I am going to I'm gonna like swoop in at her, and then like at the end of that swoop, I suddenly poof turn back to normal Victor. And I am going to swing a flame blade at her. Damn, that was pretty low for 3d6. At least it was cool as fuck though.
I'm imagining kind of like a bat stealth and then punch forward with the flame blade coming out of the top of your wrist.
But there doesn't appear to be as much damage as you would have expected.
All right.
What is this thing?
Horrific demon form.
Okay, so first I want to think back to my time in the Citadel at what's it called Neverwinter. I want to think back to my time in the Citadel in Neverwinter. Have I ever read about anything like this? Like, can I try to figure out what this thing is?
It's spooky.
That's what I thought.
With each other. There is a
So when we
psychic
take one
connection.
out, the other two lose some sort of ability?
Well, you know that somehow or other there is shared ability to their operation.
Alright, in that case, I will just keep trying to focus down the one hag that we're initially trying to take down. I've already cast Blast. I'm going to move... See, the first demon was gone, right?
Yes, the first
You know what?
the barrel now.
This is probably a terrible, terrible idea.
Do it.
But I'm going to usurp Sylvia's place as bad decision maker, and make my spiritual weapon slam into the side of the barrel.
No!
No! No!
Oh wait, no, we know it's not. It doesn't hurt. Well, at least it doesn't hurt them.
Well, okay.
I'm actually alright with this. I'm under the impression that the barrel is not toxic enough to damage us. It's just a spawn point.
Yeah, but now you just make the spawn point bigger.
No,
And there's still two, and there's still two witches.
Yeah, that needs to touch it, and they're both going after me.
Creatures start oozing out of
Oh no.
It was either going to be a really big. It was either going to be a really good idea or a really bad idea.
from outside. You can hear the screeching the windows and are trying apparently to get inside the room.
Ooh.
This
You
is
know
bad.
what? I'll cast
This
Spell
is
you know the windows.
No!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
This is gonna be even worse. No! Bad. Stop.
Nope. Too late. It has been done.
I'm currently surrounded. I still got this. I think I'm
Don't
confident.
worry, Fancy. I'm still with you and I got a plan.
We got this. We got this. Come on.
No, the spiritual weapon is a bonus action.
Okay. All right. So the windows open
Don't do that.
as the episode ends for the night, and it says to be continued next week. You see a horde of ravens flying into the room.
Again, either going to be really bad or really good.
See, this was really bad because I was going to ask the DM, based off of how the room is, okay, we have one hag on the ground, one hag that missed past Duroc to get outside, am I correct?
This is past Alex to
There are
get
two hags outside.
I
There are
figured,
two
I
hags
figured,
outside.
yeah, there's two hags outside basically. I figured you were
and
like
the
relatively
third one
close.
is coming out as well, but it just didn't get to the door.
So
Just
from the relation to where the barrels were to where the hag is, how much distance is that? Like, I'm trying to triangulate
15
something.
feet.
And I'm in that as well, because I'm by the stairs with the barrels.
Which as you're in a very, very target-rich environment with a very, very closed-in.
That we probably didn't need!
Hey, more heads to take.
You're not gonna take.
Oh, you're still in there!
Yes! Come on!
Yeah, so am I. Like, I'm surrounded by them because I was on the boat, so I
Monarch
was
and
surrounded.
Sylvia are spitting black feathers out of their mouth as we float.
Wait. What about Led? Isn't he inside too?
No! All the folks are outside except for the two of us!
No, it was just me and Alex. Led was.
No,
Vlad was outside.
No, Led was inside.
Vlad is
No.
outside.
He specifically said flying outside in that form.
No, that's fair, but Vlad has been outside since the start.
No,
Guys,
Sure.
guys,
Yes.
Hold on. Let's argue.
Brad was ordered outside by Sylvia. He decided to take her.
oh, right. Okay.
Mark, it's
Okay,
okay.
but,
I got this.
We got this, it's fine.
Because there's
Took down the
still,
giant tree. Took down the giant tree.
there's still magical creatures, right?
Mhm.
Oh, thank God for whatever higher.
Positioning around the windmill, so we'll have a battle map of the lower floor so that you can get an idea of who's moving where on a much larger scale. And possibly feathered fiends, I don't know. We'll see.
So, Miss Bruce,
Not a problem.
question. Question though. With these creatures, just so I know, so I can be prepared ahead of time. Would they be organic material or inorganic?
Demons are considered.
Okay, I was figuring because it's the ooze slime, whatever it is. I was wondering if it was organic or inorganic material.
I will rule it as organic.
Okay. Alright, so that means they don't have disadvantage on a saving throw, but that's okay because I'm about to do massive amounts of damage.
See? We don't know.
Which is not what I want to do!
She's going to make a bad choice and throw a fireball in the middle of the thing, blow everybody up,
I don't
and
have
we
fire.
have to completely rewrite the story.
No, look. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. That's what I can do.
Monarch, you're going to be outside the circle of BS, but yeah,
it's
just
really
be
cool.
prepared for
We've got
trouble.
control. Between me and you, we've got really good cash control. I can do burning hands because my key power means I can now, as a melee attack, just burst with a Kamehameha. And you've got this.
How about this? How about this?
And
When
let's
we
say
start this
this,
off,
Sylvia. Let's.
Yes.
I will.
Hi, folks.
So,
I
yeah.
actually do have a quick question regarding
Wait
Crone.
till the stream goes off.
Oh, I thought it was off.
No, we were saying bye.
Bye.
Jarek, then I'm going to confer with Monarch on something.
And so the surprise round that counted as one turn, right?
Yes.
No. Yes.
It does. Okay.
External you can act on. That's the surprise round.